There's a battle between the old version and the new version of ourselves. And as we grow and evolve, so does that battle. It changes, but you don't just win it and move on. It's not like you hit this certain point and it's done and over with. So, early on, this starts out just as developing habits. Those habits turn into lifestyle. And then over a few years, 3-5 years, the lifestyle changes to identity. And initially, that battle is just, I'm no longer going to sit around and waste my time. I'm no longer going to put unhealthy food, alcohol, and poison into my mouth. I'm going to do something different. And that is a hard battle. And you don't have to be too conscious of much at that point other than I have to change the way I act. And next, as it becomes lifestyle, at least to me, I don't think I was really conscious or aware of this at all. But now that this has become truly identity, 2.5 years without alcohol, 4.5 years since I stepped into the gym and started changing my life, and I've become hyper aware now that there is an old version of me that is still just fighting every day to poke through, to come back to that self-speak, to be the worst version of myself. And it sneaks in a lot in crazy ways, but I've also started to understand it really well and started to be able to control that energy. I haven't been able to just beat it though. I can recognize these things, which I'll tell you in a second, that kind of plague my spirit at this point. I feel them coming through, they're conscious, maybe it's just the energy, and I'm able to actually tell myself to love and to forgive and to just picture the darkness going away and just being a source of positive energy and love, projecting that out into the world. And it's such a wild thing to start to recognize that and realize that I can actually consciously change the way I feel in a moment. I mean, I've said it before, it almost feels intoxicating. My whole body tingles. But it's also really easy for these things that are plaguing me to snap right back, and for that anger, that resentment, that negativity to get back into my mind and my consciousness and my spirit. So this is something that, I want to share with you, because as I grow and evolve, I wish there was someone who was sharing this part of their journey with me, because I see these people who have really truly elevated, who I feel like they've got charge of this energy. They're able to do something different with it. And I feel myself just starting that part of this journey, which is a completely new and different and wild challenge that it's hard to even understand. It's so much less than, so much different than get good habits, stick with them consistently. Fitness is the foundation for everything. That made sense, right? When I really figured that out, that made sense. Good habits and fitness are the foundation for everything. And that's the main core of my message that I want to bring you, that I want to share and I want to continue to build. But there's something beyond that. As I continue to evolve, I want us to share in what's happening. So when you get to this level, you might have a little more consciousness. So at the current level that I've elevated to, I've kind of gotten to a point where I don't care about what anybody says online. I don't care about the trolls. I don't care about what people think or say in real life. When I'm at the gym, I'm in there dancing, I'm pulling my shirt up and posing in the mirror in front of everybody, not caring. If I want to take pictures with my shirt off out by the river right in front of the loft condos that I'm sure a lot of people are watching, whatever. People that aren't a part of my life, whatever they say, think, or do, well, as long as they're not trying to physically harm me, it doesn't matter. But man, the people that are the closest to me, they're really, their judgments, their criticism, their instruction of trying to tell me what my life needs to look like and who I need to be and how this is all wrong and how I'm failing at everything and how this is all bad, because I'm not willing to live within the limitations of their own personal beliefs. And I know that it's because I'm a mirror. Something about what I'm doing and the way I'm growing and evolving and all this belief that I've built in myself, and the fact that I'm not going to accept the limitations of, oh yeah, it would be really cool if I make $100,000 or $200,000 a year. I know that I have the capability to make millions, and I have the ability to use that to get this message out to the world, to do amazing things, and to build the life that I truly desire. Because that's part of the man that I admire, and that is a big part of my mission, building the man that I admire. not for external validation, because of what I personally seek in myself. So, this has come in a few different forms. There's another thing that I've come to recognize. Here's another one of those heavy duty lights. Really a core foundation of the thing that I'm battling within myself. It goes clear back to youth, and this will never be gone. So I know that when I elevate far enough, when I've got enough of this internal validation built, when things are truly vibing the way I know they're going to as I continue to evolve, at some point, any of these things, whether it be the things that the friends and family say that are just because they don't understand and they're threatened by seeing someone do something amazing, just it'll roll off me like water off a duck. The same thing that I'm battling, that I've really become conscious of over the last year and a half, that's led to a lot of resentment and a lot of forgiveness, but the circumstance is not going to go away. So, I refuse to engage, I refuse to react, but it still causes harm to me spiritually and mentally right now. So I do the best I can to avoid this, but this is just a part of my life, and there's going to be a certain point where I've elevated far enough that no matter what anybody says or does, I'm still just going to be on that good vibe. I'm going to continue on my mission. We're going to continue building this together. Just one path, always elevate, always the next step, little by little, day after day, year after year, never stop moving in the same direction. So this battle right now, it's a really interesting one, because even, just a week or two ago, I put out a video that talked about this deep internal belief that I've had growing within me since a very, very young age, that I'm just not good enough. And you can trace that to all the crazy different things I've done through my life. So the way I'm starting to look at this is just like every other challenge or bit of adversity that I've gone head on into. Right now, this is my mission personally, to just go head on into this, to understand it better, to take control of it, to develop that strength, that fortitude, that thing within myself that I need internally that will allow me to, like I said, just go head on into this, let it roll off me like water off a duck. And that is, I think, this early morning wake-ups, eating an absolutely perfectly balanced, proper meals, not having any sort of vices or poison going into my body. This is second nature. I can't not do it. It's not even a challenge anymore. So now this challenge, this new one, it's the spiritual challenge. This is something that I'm growing and understanding and learning internally. And I do believe that, I've never gone to counseling. I did a little bit around 8th, 9th grade. This thing that I'm confronting, I can trace this back to those problems that I was a challenging kid in a young age. I can point it to the stunt riding. I can point it to putting hot tubs in my dorm room, or doing all these different things to call attention to myself and bribe people for their approval. And, those are different talks. But I know that this is a challenge that was put here, has been bestowed upon me. I didn't have my mirror in the right place, so that I can grow, develop, and evolve in a way that helps others to understand this, to be able to grow through this point of their challenge, of their journey of evolution, of progression as well, of elevation. There we go. So, today I just want you to know that the challenges are never supposed to stop. New levels, new devils. And it is a good thing. Adversity is a gift. The challenges that are bestowed upon us, they're going to continue to come at us in different ways. And I, for one, am on a mission to always continue to pursue the absolute best version of myself, my highest potential. I'm never going to get there. I'm totally cool with that. I'm really satisfied with the progress I've made, with the things I've done, with the things I've become. I look forward to the man I'm becoming, but I'm never going to be satisfied with the results. And I love that. So many people stagnate at this age. So many people in their mid-40s, they're locked in. Younger than that, they're locked in. They live a lifestyle. They survive to just let off a little steam, blow some money, and poison themselves with crappy food and alcohol on the weekends. And that's just the way they're going to live. And they're going to get old, unhealthy, and die. I can promise you one thing. If you've been with me for much of this journey, you see a few of these cutaways or you ever check out my main channel, when I'm looking back on my life when I'm old, I'm sure not going to have any regrets about things I didn't try or do or attempt, even the things that blew up in my face. And especially the things that blew up in my face, the things that went the worst. Those were the gifts that have been allowed me to build everything that I have the potential I'm supposed to be here for, the things that I can become. That doesn't come out of comfort and things being easy and going as planned. As a matter of fact, what a freaking boring life. If that's how you want things to work, to just be comfortable and to work out and to get in a groove and follow the same routine and stay at the same level and maybe every once in a while get a minor promotion or a minor upgrade in pay, which is not even going to keep up with the pace of inflation. We've all got a greater purpose for ourselves, for our community, for the people we care about. And that battle with the old version of ourself versus the new version of ourself. At least for a long time in this path of elevation, it doesn't end. It just changes, grows, and evolves. So I love you wherever you are in your journey today. I'm going to be with you along the way. I'm going to keep showing you the challenges that I have, the things that I'm growing and learning, and the things that I've got on lock, I've got the receipts for, and I can really show you a path. I can show you some things that I needed help understanding when I was where you're at. I'm going to keep bringing those in too. So we're going to keep going at this for, together. I'm never going to stop. So I love you. Thanks for sharing this part of your journey with me and hearing a little bit more of my story.